So in this video, I wanted to talk about solo queue mentality and what I think is an appropriate way to improve or climb up the ladder. The inspiration of this video comes from a few different sources, but one of the more important ones being Reddit. If you go to one of the subreddits like Overwatch University, you'll likely find people asking, how do I climb? How do I get out of elo hell? It's impossible. How do I get to X rank? And it's not really a surprise that if within the post they go on to explain how they do so well every single game, and that they have 3 to 4 gold medals all the time, and that they destroy the enemy players in their games, but they still can't seem to win. And to me, it's a little bit strange that the posts are usually so vague in what they want, because it just seems like they're looking for some how to climb quick answer, and it's just like one special secret or some sort of knowledge that they don't have that will magically help them climb to whatever elo that they'd like. And amongst some players, there will always be the excuse of, oh, well, you know, my team's always troll me, or elo hell, and it's impossible to climb with teammates like these. And it's actually a little bit funny to me when they say that, when there are people who can easily just breeze past whatever rank the person is complaining about. So, like, if someone in bronze, silver, or gold is complaining that, you know, the teammates are just so bad so you can't carry, you know, there's a lot of people that will just breeze past their ranking like it's no problem. And they're complaining that, you know, it's too hard to carry and that they're such good players and they should be playing at like a diamond or a masters or a grandmasters level. It's kind of funny. Like, people seem to think that the system is at fault for not putting them at the rank that they deserve, but I don't think they really realize that it doesn't matter what kind of system we get or how generous Blizzard makes it, because at the end of the day, regardless of what rank you are, it doesn't change who you are as a player. Sure, you might have a rank that's a little bit shinier than the next guy to you, but just having the rank alone doesn't make you a better player. And another thing, people seem to think that just getting higher up on the ladder means that it gets better, as if like being in Grandmasters or top 500 instantly makes the game a lot better and it's like elo heaven, and like games are just going to be a breeze and everyone's going to cooperate and work together. But it's kind of interesting why people think that, because some of them have never experienced what the higher ranks are like. And me myself, I have been lowest diamond and made it all the way to top 500 in season 3. And just the other day, someone in diamond was telling me that the games are truly uncarryable and that I don't understand what those kinds of games are, which seemed really odd to me because I myself started out in diamond when I first started playing the game, and I can tell you that from experience that it isn't necessarily true. Sure, the players on your team may not be as good as if you were in GM or top 500, but that speaks for the enemy team as well. Like, if you start to learn the game a little bit better and you start to get good habits and, you know, you just start improving your game, then you'll easily be able to punish players who aren't as good as you are. Like, just having the medals alone, it doesn't really tell you the story of the game. Like, it doesn't tell you anything. Sure, it'll give me the benefit of the doubt that, you know, you may have performed better than some other people on your team, but like, it really doesn't describe much. If you have a McCree on your team and you're playing soldier and you're just ramming the Reinhardt shield all day and you have most damage done, then it doesn't like tell me anything. Like, sure, even if you want to say my experience was just luck, you can see a lot of different people on YouTube and Reddit that are doing like bronze to grandmasters challenges and bronze to top 500 challenges. And I mean, there's even a guy on Reddit that was, I believe, a DPS main, and he has 5 different accounts that are in grandmasters, and he has a series, I guess you can say, of him doing placement matches. So it's a little bit funny that people can say that, you know, the rank is just uncarryable and whatnot, and that their teammates are the things that are holding them back. Because when they end up thinking like that, I think that's what really stops them from getting better, because they don't bother to look at themselves and they just blame their teammates. And it's pretty much like a never-ending cycle of anger and frustration. Like, this sort of thing seems to happen in team games like League of Legends. Like, people will always complain about their teammates holding them back and that it's impossible to climb, and then they fool themselves into thinking that they're playing so well because they have the most damage or the most eliminations or the most objective kills, and they don't realize that they themselves aren't even doing anything to help themselves climb. They aren't even looking at themselves to see what mistakes they made. It's always just about their teammates and what mistakes they made. Like, you can think of it like this. If you were to have decent teams every game, then the rank that you desire wouldn't be as impressive anymore. Like, if it was so easy to get Diamond, if it was so easy to get Masters or Grandmasters for every single player, then having Diamond, Masters, Grandmasters, top 500 wouldn't really be something to be impressed about or be happy about. Like, would it? Because everyone can do it so easily. Like, it doesn't require any sort of thing, any sort of struggle. So it would no longer be impressive. Like, to me, it seems really silly to rely on random people on the internet that you've never met or know anything about to fulfill your expectations. Like, you're going to have games where you're winning all game and then you end up losing a team fight because your supports died and then the enemy team snowballed the payload all the way to the end, making you lose the game. Like, it happens to everybody. People make mistakes all the time, and you should accept that. You should also accept that you can't control the other 5 people on your team. You can't tell them what to do. If they want to play Torb or if they want to play Hanzo, not saying that they're bad characters, but those 2 characters seem to get a lot of hate from people. Like, there's nothing you can do to stop them other than ask them to switch off. And if they don't switch off, then there's nothing you can do. Like, you can't control anyone else in this game, so you shouldn't worry about them. Just worry about yourself and just worry about the factors which you can control, which is just you alone. So, like, a way to think about it is in a single-player game. I know single-player games and multiplayer games aren't the same, but you can think of it like single-player game. Level 1 is bronze, level 2 is silver, level 3 is gold, level 4 is plat, etc. And in single-player games, you do sort of trial and error. Like, you try to figure out... So you fight a boss for the first time, and the boss destroys you. So what do? You try to figure out the boss's patterns, and you try to figure out, like, what you can do to avoid the boss's attacks or something like that, or you try to figure out some sort of strategy so that you can beat the boss. Either that, or you go online and you look up a guide on how to do it. So the same thing, you can take that same kind of attitude to Overwatch. Like, you can go online and look up guides on how certain matchups work and, effective strategies on certain maps when this situation is here. Or you can also just play the game and consciously look up for different things that you can do and do VOD reviews to try and figure out what you can do better the next game or in the next time the situation pops up. Like, you just have to look at yourself and see what you can be doing to improve yourself as a player, and don't worry about what your teammates are doing, because regardless of what your team is doing, it shouldn't matter, because it doesn't stop you from getting better as a player. Like, regardless of what they're doing, if they're trolling, if they're running in and using ultis incorrectly, like, it doesn't stop you from getting better as a player. If anything, you can learn from those experiences and learn how to deal with those kinds of situations, which will make you better as a player and will teach you how to deal with those situations so that the next time they come up, you'll know how to react better or react appropriately. So if you are to take this kind of mindset, then you should realize that things aren't going to improve like right away. As soon as you finish watching this video and you play a game, like, you aren't going to suddenly start winning all your games. It's going to take time, because you're going to have to figure out what you're doing wrong and figure out a way to improve it, as well as do a little bit of possible research to see what other players are doing or what good strategies are good to use in certain situations. So it's going to take time for you to improve, but I personally believe that this is definitely a good way to start your journey into becoming a better player, because it focuses on you instead of worrying about what everyone else is doing. And instead of worrying about the result of the game, you're worrying about what you could be doing as a player to influence the result of the game. But the actual result of the game doesn't matter, because it's just about you and how you can improve. As you learn the game, then the results will come in. So as you learn to get better and better as a player, that's where your ranking will start to come, and you'll start climbing a little bit by little bit. And you may have some times where, you're trying to learn something and then it suddenly clicks and you get another nice burst of ranking. But what you need to keep in mind is that it's just about you improving as a player. The results don't matter, your teammates don't matter. It's just about how you can improve as a player and what you can do to strongly impact the game. And before committing yourself to doing this, you should really ask yourself if you really want to climb. Like, the idea of being a Masters, Grandmasters, or top 500 player might be nice to you, but do you really want to put in the effort or work depending on what rank you are? So, like, if you're a gold player or something like that and you want to get top 500, you're going to have to put in the work in order to learn everything and practice your mechanics and whatnot in order to get to top 500. And if you're not willing to putting the time into doing that, then perhaps you should just, stick with whatever rank that you are and maybe play quick play with friends. If if you can't handle all the trolls and stuff that you have to go through and all the bad losing streaks that you have to go through in order to get what you want, then perhaps it's better that you just stay whatever rank you are and just play quick play with friends and have fun. But if you really want to put in the work and get to top 500, then, or whatever rank that you want, Masters, Grandmasters, top 500, then the opportunity for you to do it is there, and you just need to put in the work and the time in order to do it. Like, it's not like some people are just born and destined to be top 500 players. Like, sure, some people might be able to get to Grandmasters or top 500 much easier than the other person, but that doesn't stop the people who have to put in more time from getting to top 500. Like, especially if you're new to the genre, like a FPS genre, then you're gonna have to put in more time than someone who's played, like, I don't know, TF2 for 11 years or something like that. Like, if you're new to this type of game, then yeah, it's going to take you more time and effort compared to the other person who's had much more experience with this type of game. But if you really want it, then the opportunity for you to get it is there. You just need to be able to put in the time and the effort in order to do so. So you should really ask yourself whether or not this is something that you want to do. And if it's just the idea that you like, then perhaps you should try and figure out what you really are going to accomplish in this game. Whether it's just getting to gold, platinum, diamond, masters, grandmasters, whatever. You just need to be honest with yourself and figure out what you're going to do with this game. That is, if it's just a matter of having fun or trying to climb somewhere on the ladder or just whatever. Like, you just need to figure out what you want to do with this. If it's something that you really want to do, well, then the opportunity for you to do it is right there. And I don't think some people realize how much time some people put into this game. You don't really see how much time people practice their aim or practice positioning or something like that, because it's not something that's really shown within, streams and stuff like that, since they're mostly used for entertainment. And there aren't a lot of videos of people doing like practice routines or something like that, or doing videos of them just practicing every day and trying to improve. Like, you don't see what goes on behind the scenes, especially in pro play. Like, you don't see them scrimming, you don't see them doing VOD analysis and stuff like that. And whether or not they do that stuff or don't is completely up to them. But for the teams that do, you don't get to see that kind of stuff. So the time that they put into practice is something that you don't see, and can maybe make you believe that, some people are just naturally better than others, which is true. But it's not to say that they just don't practice and don't put in any time or anything, and they're just good just because they are. Like, they still need to put in time and practice into improving at the game and whatnot, just like everybody else.